Clare County Council is inviting landowners across the county to put forward lands that could be suitable for new housing as part of efforts to accelerate housing delivery and plan for future growth. A non-statutory public consultation is open until this Friday, seeking proposals for residentially suitable lands in towns and villages, including greenfield, brownfield and regeneration sites in line with national housing targets. To explain more about all of this, I'm joined now on the line by the Clare County Council Senior Planner, Helen Quinn. Helen, thank you for joining me on the show.
Good morning, Alan. Thanks very much for having me on this morning.
Helen, can you just give us a bit more background to why the local authority is running this now, and who exactly is being invited to take part? Is it just landowners or is it a wider group?
Well, Alan, I suppose we're really interested in hearing from landowners or from developers or indeed from communities right across the county. And what we're really hoping is that they'll help us to identify land that's suitable for residential zoning that can facilitate the building of new homes. And I suppose that, as you mentioned, that's part of the council's wider commitment to supporting housing delivery across the county. And what we want to identify sites within our towns and villages that are serviced or can be serviced in terms of water, wastewater, roads, footpaths, public lighting and so on. And we really want these sites, I suppose, to result in compact growth for our communities, that they'll be infill sites, housing on brownfield lands, help address vacancy and dereliction. And I suppose that they will build on our existing communities, our capacity in our schools and our sports clubs, and right across all of our community activities, so that we have, I suppose, really good communities right across the county into the future. Okay,
and as I mentioned, you're looking for residentially suitable lands in towns and villages, be it greenfield, brownfield or regeneration sites. I'm just wondering, Helen, are there particular towns or villages within the county that you have most in mind where housing demand is most acute?
So we're looking at all our towns and villages with the exception of Shannon. And the reason Shannon isn't included at this stage is it doesn't form part of our county development plan. It's covered by its own local area plan, and that would require a separate process. But what we are interested in is we're looking at increasing the amount of zoned land or land that's suitable for residential development right across the county. So no matter what settlement you're in, or you're a landowner in, or a community activist in, we do want to hear from you. And I suppose to that end, the expressions of interest process is opened up on the 21st of November, and it's running until this Friday, the 19th of December. And people have an opportunity to engage with us, either in hard copy. They can identify their land on a map and just give us a little bit of detail about themselves and about their land holding, and they can send that in to us here in the planning department in Clare County Council's offices in New Road in Ennis, or they can email in those details to us at our email address is devplan@clarecoco.ie. That's devplan@clarecoco.ie. And there's loads of information about the expressions of interest process up on our website, and you can access that, or you can pop into the office and have a chat here with any of our staff members at any stage.
Okay, and what happens then once the submissions close this Friday? Will land identified through this process be automatically zoned for housing, and how will community input influence longer term planning decisions, Helen?
Yeah, so we'll look at all the submissions that come through. The planners here in the council will look at all of those, and I suppose we'll look at them in terms of where they're located, how well are they serviced, are there any issues around flooding, around ecological sensitivities around the sites. And I suppose the most optimum sites will then be brought forward into what we are calling a variation to the county development plan. And that process, it's a very formal process. It's governed under planning legislation. But that process we hope to start towards the end of January. And what that will bring forward is a map for each of these towns and villages that will go on public display, identifying additional lands that we're going to say we think are suitable for zoning. There will be a further opportunity for communities and landowners to engage with us at that point in time. And ultimately, that variation process will be made by our elected members here in the council after a couple of months of running through the statutory process.
Okay, why is it important for landowners and developers to engage with this process now rather than later?
I suppose really we're in a housing crisis, as everybody knows, and we're trying to activate land that can give us housing numbers as soon as possible. So really in the short to medium term. So what we want to hear from is we want to hear in particular from landowners and developers who might have deals available that they think that they can bring forward for housing in the next year or two or in the next couple of years, because we are trying to activate more housing units and deliver more housing in line with, I suppose, these revised housing targets that we have gotten.
What would you say, Helen, to people listening who may have land, but they're just not 100% sure whether it might be suitable?
I'd say pick up the phone to us or pop in here to the council offices to us and have a chat around what it might mean for you if you decided to make a submission to us. We can have a quick look at your lands, maybe talk to you around whether or not we think that they're in a good location for development. Do we know if there's any issues like flooding or like ecological sensitivities that might apply to the lands? And maybe we can have that initial chat with you without you having to go forward and actually make a submission. And it might just help the landowners just to tease out whether or not they're interested in making a submission. But we do really want people, I suppose, communities to become involved in the process and to try and help us shape how development across the county is going to look in the next 5 to 10 years.
Okay, and just before I let you go, Helen, and just a reminder for people, if they have any questions before making a submission, what the best way to contact the Forward Planning team is?
So you can email us on forwardplan@clarecoco.ie. That's FORWARD plan@clarecoco.ie. Or you can pick up the phone to us at 065 68 46 407 or pop into the public counter here in our planning offices in New Road in Ennis.
Okay. Helen, thank you so much for joining us on the show this morning. That's Helen Quinn, Senior Planner with Clare County Council, and that deadline again this Friday.